Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. Does incoming SEC Chairman Gary Gensler have some sort of secret agenda? Perhaps being anti-Ripple and anti-XRP? And pro-Bitcoin? Because certainly he's educated on the topic. There have been videos circulating of late, not surprisingly, of him teaching a class at MIT about 3 years ago, citing the use case of XRP as a bridge currency. He certainly clearly understands it. But around that same time, he was also stating that XRP indeed is a security. And he went on to cite a few reasons for that, including a concentration of XRP, which, the concentration of XRP has nothing to do with whether or not a ledger is decentralized, but apparently he seems to think that that has something to do with centralization. Okay. No special, having a certain quantity of a crypto doesn't give you special permissions. Unless it's coded into the blockchain, it is not with XRP. And then there was the lack of utility a few years ago, harder to make that case today. And just kind of things along those lines. And all the while being very pro-Bitcoin. And so with him coming on board as chair of the SEC, it is official at this point. You got to ask here, it's being asked by XRP community members, is there some sort of secret agenda? And there's a document here, which ended up getting posted on XRP chat, that has led to this conversation. And it's titled Transcript of Chris Larson's Money 2020 Talk, The Ripple Effect. And this is not new. This is from October 26, 2018. So probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about half a year after Gary Gensler made the comments that he had made about Bitcoin and also about XRP. And now, mind you also, Gary Gensler in 2018, around the same time he was making these claims about XRP, he also said there was a case to be made, and he believed that Ethereum was a security at that time. And things changed. And since then, the SEC has also come out since then, and before Gary was on board here, and said that Ethereum is not. So there's only two that have gotten verbal clarity from the SEC. It would be Bitcoin and Ethereum, nothing else. There's over 7,000 cryptocurrencies, but those two are the golden ones at this point from that perspective. So I'll show you where this all came from, but I do want to be clear that I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I just find topics like this interesting, and I run this YouTube channel because it is my most favoritist hobby that I have ever had. If you would please also delicately tap the like button, I'd appreciate the support, and consider subscribing to the Moon Lambeau channel if you love your mama, because your mama loves you. She wants you to be happy. And if you subscribe to the Moon Lambeau channel, you will find true happiness. That's the Moon Lambeau guarantee, damn it. And so I came across this on Twitter. This is a tweet from Real XRP Boy. And so he wrote the following, and then I'll get into the actual document here. But and he wrote this just the other day. If this is true, although it doesn't sound like something Chris Larson would say at a Money 2020 event, we are effed. And then he tagged David Schwartz, who is a Ripple CTO co-creator of the XRP Ledger, and wrote, David Schwartz, do you think that this is something Chris Larson said? If so, XRP is effed. Clearly, there's an agenda with all the big boys in finance, aka the shot callers, who have their pockets lined with Bitcoin. And I'll show you what he was talking about. As far as the authenticity of this, I suspect that this is accurate. And you can see it's the sessions transcript posted by DevNull Productions. I don't think DevNull Productions would put out bunk stuff like this. But note at the top here, while the Money 2020 attendee policy does not allow us to take or share audio or video of the event, there's nothing about transcripts as far as we can tell. The final session's transcript titled The Ripple Effect with Chris Larson can be found below. This was compiled to the best of our ability, should be mostly accurate, though there may be small mistakes due to transcription errors. So you can imagine somebody sitting in there on the fly, listening to a regularly paced conversation, typing as quickly as they can to not lose their spot, and there are some typos. I read through this thing, and there are actually a number of them, but that's okay. I mean, probably better than I could have done. So, but even Gary Gensler's name was misspelled. It's Gary, and then they put 2 R's in there, as you can see. And so here's where I want to start. I think it was somewhere around here. So this is Chris Larson speaking now. Here we go. I have to say, I think you need to have, or maybe did I want to start a little higher? I can't. Maybe that is. Yeah, okay, I'll just start there. I have to say, I think you need to have a lot of respect for current regulators and ex-regulators. Anyone who has been a regulator has served this country. That being said, I need to call out a person that needs calling out. That is Gary Gensler, who has been out there for months and months, that has been hearing the Bitcoin agenda, that Bitcoin is okay. Frankly, to try to kill off the challenging group, especially those trying to figure out the XRP ledger, and that is very unfortunate and will be proven wrong on Ethereum and proven wrong generally. We see him sometimes at conferences, he pops up all the time, spends some time walking through history that is incorrect, seeming not to have a real deep grasp on how the industry works. Seems to say, I agree, I get it, thanks for clarifying that, then goes out of his way to repeat the same mischaracterizations. Clearly, he has things like a Bitcoin agenda, and I understand as a Bitcoin holder, he should expose that if it's the case. You know that's not helping the industry. That's not helping America. Yeah, so this is why I wanted to get at this. So even if that's the case, it's only going to matter to a certain degree. I mean, if he really is going to go out there and make a claim that everything that's not Bitcoin is a security, I mean, he can try and go that route. And you're just going to wreck cryptocurrency in the United States of America, and all innovation will end up leaving the country. But that's not, at least to this point, what we've seen from the SEC. If the tone changes with him in charge, okay, maybe. But here, you got to consider this too. Like, even if that's the case, the SEC, they can make all the claims in the world that they want to make, but the case still has to be adjudicated. And so, ultimately, if this SEC versus Ripple suit is not settled, let's say it goes to trial, well, the SEC still has to prove their case. And at least to this point, they're not even trying to claim that XRP today is a security, so unless they amend that charge, which would not look good on their front, especially after how much information they put out with, like, whatever, 71 pages or whatever the hell the initial complaint was, that would look pretty bad. I think they've shot themselves in the foot on that. So I don't think that they're going to request a declaratory judgment that XRP be deemed a security. They're just verbally stating that, but that doesn't have any teeth. Says Jeremy Hogan, who is an attorney, because a judge can't declare something a security. If the SEC hasn't requested such a declaratory judgment, it just doesn't work like that from a legal perspective. And so Gary can think whatever he wants, and maybe even if he does have some sort of secret Bitcoin only agenda, which may or may not be true, I could only speculate on that. I guess my broader point is that it doesn't matter, because you're still gonna, if there's a jury trial, then there's gonna be a judge and a jury that have to make this determination, and Gary can say whatever he wants. It doesn't mean that we're effed, So I would say that. So to XRP boy, if you happen to be listening, I appreciate the concern. I totally get it, but I don't think for a moment that means that XRP holders are screwed specifically for that reason. So it's an interesting topic of conversation, and I'm just hoping that his thinking on this will have evolved over the last few years, especially given that things are very different. There's been a substantial increase in XRP utility. There's been a substantial increase in decentralization. Ripple right now only operates 16% of validators on the network, and so they've been very proactively doing everything they can to head in that direction in terms of utility and XRP ledger decentralization. That's been part of their stated goal for years and years and years, and the SEC knew it too. That's why to me it just seems like this is a tremendous shakeout. Like it's a money grab. Like that is what it looks like to me. I do not believe that the SEC is protecting me. They've had 8 freaking years to go after this, and then to just have asshat Jay Clayton at the last minute before this last full day of work, bring these claims against Ripple. It's just disgusting. It's absolutely repulsive here. And so there's a new blog from XRP community member Galgatron, and he should check this thing out. If you want to check it out, go to galgatron.net. It's GALGITRON.net, and it's the most recent blog entry. And in going through this, and he's a colorful individual, I'm a fan, he basically stated, among other things, that in reading through the complaints, the SEC versus Ripple, it seemed like every FUD argument that the XRP community has been fighting and putting up with for like the last 3 or 4 years, basically. And once I read it like that, I was like, yeah, that's a good way to characterize it. It does sound like it, because it's a bunch of silly nonsense. And all these claims about Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson selling XRP, which are not fraud claims. They're just thrown in to get people to have an emotional reaction, and it worked. Certainly all sorts of people set off in the XRP community. I wasn't one of them, because that doesn't make logical sense, in my humble opinion. And it's okay if you feel differently than me. We can be friends still if you feel differently than me. But, to put stuff like that in, it's purely to stir up emotion, and doesn't change anything. Nothing was fraudulent. The XRP ledger is public. It functionally doesn't matter, and it has nothing to do with whether or not XRP was sold as a security, which is really what the primary claim is. And so, whatever it was designed to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and they wanted to overcharge quite clearly. That could not be more obvious to me. And here's a tweet from attorney John Deaton. I just want to share this with you before wrapping up the video. The SEC vs. Ripple complaint on page 8 states that 40% of the nodes validating transactions on the XRP ledger are operated by organizations or entities based in the United States, including Ripple itself. It failed to mention one of those entities validating transactions was the SEC. And so, it's so funny to me. And even if they outsourced it, it's like then it would be the case. It's like hiring a hitman at that point. Like, so, because I do think that they technically outsourced it, but that would mean that they're using taxpayer money to pay a third party to process illegal securities transactions on the XRP ledger. That's what that would mean. It doesn't make it any better, even if they outsourced it. If anything, it makes it worse, because now you're involving more taxpayer funds. And somebody named XRP Attorney responded to John Deaton and wrote the following. I think it's important for XRP investors to be aware that the SEC has not asked the court to declare XRP a security as their relief. To me, that just confirms the SEC is only after Ripple's escrowed XRP. That's shady, which is a point that I just brought up in this video, and very true. So it's another attorney saying that. John Deaton responded, "You, my friend, have hit on the very essence of the writ of mandamus, which is to get the SEC to declare, whether voluntarily or by court, that our XRP is not a security." And indeed, he did file that, I guess it was technically January 1st of this year. And so, we'll see what happens with that ultimately. If not, if even if it doesn't go the way that John Deaton's hoping to, basically it sets a timer so that 6 months from now, it's legally the way it's set up. He'll be able to file a class action lawsuit. Now, of course, if there's a declaration that XRP is not a security, then that won't be necessary. But I'm not convinced we're going to get that from him. So I have a feeling that John Deaton's ultimately going to be filing a class action against the SEC. That'd be my guess. We'll see what happens, though. That said, I'm still optimistic that there could be a settlement between the SEC and Ripple. Many lawyers seem to think that's more likely than actually seeing a jury trial. But no, yeah. So look, as far as this idea of a secret agenda, we call the secret agenda. It's like it would just be his opinion, what I mean, and the way that he thinks things should go. I mean, yeah, it's an agenda. If he's verbally stating that that's not the case, and then he behaves in a way that would make it be the case, then okay, yeah, maybe, I suppose. But even so, if anything that goes to court, he doesn't have any additional say. He has certain powers running the SEC, got that. But once things get to court, if you're talking about a judge and a jury, okay, well, there you go. They're the ones that are going to have to make heads or tails of it. The fact that Gary's going to be head of the SEC won't additionally impact that any further. And again, like I said, I don't think it means that we're screwed. But I would love to hear what you think in the comment section below. But I will wrap this one up. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.